Hey, everybody. Why am I so little? Hang on. There we are. Here I am. Like, wait a minute. Why am I so little and on the side? Hey, everybody. It's Kate Richburg, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Great Bead Extravaganza. It's really fantastic to have you all here from wherever you're watching all over the world. It's a worldwide bead event. We are very, very lucky to have you all here. Candy did such a great job. Jill McKay is coming up next. We're going to have a lot of fun today, and then we slide into that fun into tomorrow. Wherever you are around the world, doing whatever it is you're doing today, I hope you're having a great time. We really, really appreciate you for spending your time with us. Not only we here at beadshop.com, but all of us who are hanging out, all of our 10 great Bead Extravaganza companies. It's great to have you. A big shout out to Janice, who's on the other side of the computer doing our moderating. Thank you, JP, for jumping in and moderating for us. We really, really appreciate you doing that. Miranda's here printing orders as we speak. So it's great. It's great to have you all here. So thank you so much. What we're going to be doing today, I'm going to need like every second of the 60 minutes that I have to spend with you today. We are going to be working on the chain reaction bracelet, which I have here in front of me. A lot of our kits, thank you so much. It's a great problem to have. A lot of our kits have already sold out. We still have a few of the Golden Ember that I'm going to show you. But I'm also going to show you, I'm going to share our screen, and I'm going to show you where you can create your own kit. And I've pulled, or choose your own components, really. And I've pulled a few here for you to look at. Okay, so let me just come in, and I'm going to share my screen here with you for just a moment, and we're going to take a look. For those of you who are first-time viewers here with us at beadshop.com, I'm Kate Richburg. It's really great to have you here, as I said. And I go live every Wednesday and Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, right here on the wherever you're watching, really, is usually where I'm broadcasting from. Great place to watch us, of course, is on our beadshop.com YouTube channel. You want to give that a like and a follow and enable those notifications. Also, for Bead Shop, jump over to our site and sign up for our newsletter. It's a great way to stay connected with all that we do here with beadshop.com, and tangentially what we do here also with the Great Bead Extravaganza. We have a coupon code this weekend, TGBE20. You can use that to save 20% store-wide at beadshop.com. And I've given you an extra day to shop. A lot of times on Monday, you know, if we end our coupon on Sunday, I get some emails going, Kate, I didn't get a chance to shop. So I've extended that coupon to Monday, so you can shop then as well. But any questions, you can, let me put up this banner or this here so you can stay in touch with us. Our Facebook group, the Bead Table, really great, friendly place of beaders. Our Instagram, not only our Instagram at beadshop.com, but our Great Bead Extravaganza Insta as well. Our Pinterest pages, hit that like, subscribe, and notification button wherever you're watching us, and hit us up at beadshop.com. everywhere online. And if you need to send us a message, best place to communicate with us is our email directly at info@beadshop.com. I also wanted to say we really have a fantastic giveaway, and all of the details for that giveaway, if you go to the Great Bead Extravaganza webpage, thegreatbeadextravaganza.com, you'll see where to sign up for that giveaway. And each winner, we're going to draw 10 winners, 10, because we have 10 Great Bead Extravaganza companies. Each winner is going to be paired with one company. And like if you're paired with me at beadshop.com, you're going to get a gift, a retail value of $50. It could be merchandise, it could be a gift card. It's whatever the companies decide it is. And of course, this giveaway is courtesy of all the Great Bead Extravaganza presenters. And just a final warning, please remember, we will not contact you through Messenger or ask for any money in regards to giveaways. Okay, so be smart, be safe. And if anyone messages you and says, hey, give me $5 from the Great Bead Extravaganza, that's not us. Okay, we just want to make sure that you stay safe online. All right, well, let me take this down. And let me share my screen. Gosh, so many of you are watching. Thank you so, so much for jumping in and saying hello. And again, Janice is doing that moderating on the other side of the camera. And we really, really appreciate you, JP, being here and doing that for us. So let me show you. I'm going to share my screen so you can kind of see where to find there it is. Where to find your Great Bead Extravaganza components and things, because as I said, it's a great problem to have, but we are almost sold out of kits. So thank you so much for supporting us that way. But let me jump on down. Let me scroll down. And right here, there's the kit. If you click on the kit, it'll take you to the kit page. And some of those kits, as you can see, Twilight Moss is sold out, Shadowline is sold out. We still have a few of the Golden Ember, but I wanted to show you, if you scroll up, please check out this project page for additional tools, the additional tools you're going to need. But I also have, look at what comes up right here, quantities needed for project. So you can click on all of these, places, all of these categories, I guess is what I want to say, over on Bead Shop, and you can pick out your own strand of 6mm fire polish, 2 tubes of 8/0 round seed beads, a foot of our run-along chain, which I love, I've got right here in my hand, a yard of leather, a button, and some fine Ceylon. And that will give you exactly what you need to create this bracelet right here. And I'm going to do that today. I'm going to show you how to put it together. So this is a project that is going to live on even after these kits are sold out. You're also going to need some tools, some extras that I'm going to talk about, but they're also all on this page as well. So I know I did. I called it runaround chain. Heather, I sure did. Right. It's run along, though. I don't know. Candy and I are ready to do some running around for sure. So yeah, so that's a story there. Let me stop sharing this page. Let me do that. And let me add my oh, I need to add my above camera. Hang on. Hold, please, while I do that. And let's get to making. There we go. There I am. Okay, and let me spotlight that. Okay, I'm going to try and keep an eye on comments as well, my friends. But Janice, as I said, Janice is moderating on the other side. So she's going to be answering questions, and I will try and answer questions as we go along. But I want to show you how we put all of this together. So first, I did grab an alternate colorway that I think you folks will like. It's the Run Along chain in the silver. I also grabbed, look at this opaque turquoise. That pairs really well with our 411 FR seed bead. Look at that. And then you could add like a green, that's the 1889. You could add a red, that's the 1011. You could also add more blues, right? You could choose the, we've got a lot of really great different colors of the fine Ceylon. And the 1.5, I did the metallic, I think this is the metallic aqua here. So it all depends when you're choosing your components, if you want things to contrast or kind of match in a monochromatic way. I really like what I did for our kits was I added a bit of contrast with the fine, but it was kind of in the monochromatic palette. So I used this blue with the twilight. I used this brown. This has a little bit more contrast with the golden ember that I'm going to be working on. And then this one, that's the shadow line. This has the charcoal as well as the charcoal colored Ceylon. So it's really up to you folks how you want to put it together. This would look great, Sherry, in white. We've got a really great kind of a plain white as well as a pearl 1.5 with that silver chain and AB beads. Just choose what you love. And don't forget, let me put this up. We do have our coupon code, save 20% store-wide today. And that's also on the homepage on beadshop.com. All right, let's get to making. I could chat with you all day, but let's get to making. Let me slide that one out, slide this one in. Two of the tools that are real important for you to be working with today, and I'm going to get a little bit closer here. Let me zoom in just a bit. Let me do that. So I've used, so great question, Marion, the fire polish that I'm using today, this is a 6mm right here. But let me zoom in a bit because you folks may have things that you want to use at home as well, which is also a great idea. Start using up that stash. Let me get in a little bit tighter. If you can see here, something here is not sitting right. There we go. Here's that 6mm fire polish, right there. And it corresponds to 3 of the 8/0 beads here. But let's say that instead of this 6mm, you wanted to do a 4mm. A 4mm is about the same size as 2 of these 8/0. So just make this section, you know, all of the beads that you put in across, just make a match, right? 6mm works with 3. 4mm works with 2 8/0. And if you went ahead and jumped down to a 3mm fire polish, you would just use 1, right? So create, play around, and see what works. We also, as I said, we're using this Run Along chain right here. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a shadow on my table because it's nice and sunny here today, which is great, but it's giving me a little bit of shadow, but hopefully you can see this. You can see the Run Along chain is here on that end and on that end. Now, this bracelet originally we did at our bead retreat, and everyone had such a fun time creating it. Some of my students there used, instead of the chain down here and here, they put the chain in the center channel, one channel, and then did beads on the outer one here and here, which you could also use. The wheat chain that we carry, it's kind of like our wheat chain, it's kind of like a braided chain almost. Also looks really terrific with this also. So you could use the wheat instead of the run along. This is the one that I did for the retreat. The chain is a little different here. I used keyholes with this. So as long as you're using a chain that you can ladder with, this run along, I chose that for the kit because it is a true Rolo chain that has the chain links facing up and facing then at a 90-degree angle. This one is super easy to ladder, and I suggest maybe starting with this. But then if you want to branch out and use this keyholes is like a little figure 8 chain, or there, go into the wheat chain. Let me just grab it really. Oh, here comes Miranda. Would you grab me the wheat chain, my friend, just so you can see that? And we've done some laddering. That is a definite bead shop signature look with our wheat chain. But you can see here's that round wheat chain, and it's also perfect for laddering because it's an all-encompassing chain right there. Okay, so yeah, lots of options here. So let me show you how to start. A couple of the real important tools you're going to need. This is almost a non-negotiable, this collapsible eye beading needle, though you can use any wire beading needle. You can use our flexible eye. You could even use a big eye needle if you wanted to. The thing about these collapsible eye needles, though, I'll tell you, is that the top of that needle has a little twist in it. Kind of hard to see, but that little twist, what happens is I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut 3 yards of this fine Ceylon right here. Let me cut that. And then let me show you what happens is when you string this needle, see how it comes in and you pull it down, see, into that little loop that's at the top of the needle eye right there. Let me see if I can get you in a little bit tighter and see how that thread stays and doesn't come out. Now you could use your regular flexible eye needles, right? Because that needle flexes down. It will grab onto this and it shouldn't give you too much trouble. So you could use those as well. But this is really when this needle shines. When you want a needle on the end of something, this collapsible eye grabs onto that thread and then you are good to go. So that's terrific. I'm going to take this off for just a moment so I don't lose it. The other thing that you could do, and I told you I was going to do this yesterday, is you could come in, if you don't have needles, we could add our zap glue, and let me squirt a little bit of that out. And we can slide this in like this. I close this over, and again, this is that zap. I'm really pushing that thread down into that zap glue, and I'm using the baggie like a little squeegee. And I'm really gluing about 2 to 3 inches. I'm going to go through one more time here. And that stiffens my thread. So if you're caught without a needle, this is a great way to kind of punt with it. Okay, great question about the kits. Liz, these were exclusive to the kit, but some of these 6mm I've become very fond of, especially these two and the champagne. These were all kit exclusives, but if we can get them, maybe we'll add them in. 6mm fire polish are really, I feel like, the workhorse of the bead world. Look at how great they look together. And I'm sorry, we ran out of kits. We really thought we made enough, but choose your own adventure, and stay tuned to our newsletters. We'll add some more 6mm in there. And I'm also going to be doing a kit for the full retreat bracelet, which will also include this in a new colorway. So stay tuned, okay? Because we're going to work through my full retreat bracelet step by step on my live broadcasts on Wednesdays, okay? So there's a lot of content coming your way all about this, but this is really kind of the showcase for that. And this actually, I think, is the hardest section. So that's why I kept it for this single broadcast. So you can see here, since I've glued this and chatted just a bit, I'm going to come in, I'm going to take away some of that extra glue. And then what you would do, you'd really let this dry. It's kind of sticking to my hands a little bit because it's not completely dry, but you come in and we get a really nice angle cut on that. And then this is ready to use. Okay. I actually have the needles, so I don't want to get in trouble and glue this accidentally into my beads. So I'm going to cut this away. All right. Now, to get started, what you're going to do, oh, and one more thing that you're going to need, an awl is really going to help you with this too. Okay. The awl, GS Hypo, our Zap, our thread snips, and our Bead-A-Lon collapsible eye needle right here. Okay. That's what, those are kind of the additional tools you're going to need. You'll also need a healthy dose of our clamps, our clampers, and I'm going to show you why right now. So here is, I've taken my 1.5mm. This is a yard of cord, and this yard is going to give you a bracelet that's going to measure up to about 8 3/4. Okay. If you want a longer bracelet, if you want to wrap around twice, because you have plenty of beads left over for this project, you would get yourself another yard of thread of 1.5mm and add it in. But this is just going to be for that single wrap. Okay, so this is the Golden Ember kit that I'm working with. So I put my button that comes in the kit, comes together, and I go to the center, and then I take the ends of my cord. I want to make them equal. Make sure that's in the center. And I'm coming in, and I'm laying those two right in the middle there. Can you see that? So that on this side here, we're going to cut that open. But for now, we need to macrame this closed so that we have the button sitting up there, nice and nice up at the top. Okay. So we're going to come in and I'm going to clamp all of those together. Okay. Just like so. And we're going to start to macrame. Now I have my fine Ceylon. Oh, that's awesome. My mom's watching. I was at my Fiber Arts Guild meeting a little bit earlier today. Today's been a busy day. And so my mom was at the meeting as well. And my mom won one of the door prizes. That's awesome. I love it. So we're going to come here in the center. And I'm just going to start by macrameing these together. Now you could also silk wrap this. I'm not going to take the time to show you silk wrapping, but if you go to beadshop.com and you go to our skill builders, we have a skill builder on the macrame, on the silk wrap. If you don't know what a silk wrap is like this little wrap that's here at the bottom of this one. It is also a real bead shop signature move for us. So it's great. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start my macrame. I've got my loop to the left. I bring that leg over the right hand loop under my leather, and then I tighten it down. Like anything, the first stitch, the first pass, the first thing is always a little goofy. Okay, so I'm going to come in, I'm going to tighten this up. And see, when I tighten it, it kind of goes into a little bit of a circle like that. Now, I'm ready to continue my, my macrame here. But before I do that, I'm going to add a little bit of GS Hypo to make sure that all of my leather kind of sits together there. Okay, so I'm going to tighten, and now I'm going to do a total of 8. Well, now I've got 7 more macrame stitches to do. It's kind of hard when it's not connected, so just bear with me while I kind of fumble this. I go around, I'm going to the left. So 2 half hitches. Once I get those half hitches tied tightly, I have to keep tightening that top one like that. Can you see it? It's hard to see because that button keeps getting in the way. See that? I tighten there. And then I come up and I tighten the one below it pretty immediately like that. That starts to bring everything together. All right. There it is right there. So now I still have my glue, so I'm going to come in and I'll give myself one more here. Now, once I've gotten everything kind of tightened up, I can get rid of this clamp. I'm going to scroll out, zoom out here, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to set this up, okay? Because I want to connect this all to the board now, so it'll be a little bit easier. I'm going to just cut myself a little piece of the Ceylon here. And the Ceylon can be a little slippery, but it's going to hold on to my button just like this. Let me make my loop here. Loop my button through just like this. And I'm going to connect that to the board right here. Okay, like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot back here, and that's going to prevent this from sliding off my board when I clamp it. Okay, so my little knot lives over there. Let me get my clamp, and I'm going to clamp it. Okay, now I'm going to turn this so I can see the back of my button where I am macrameing. And I'm going to come in and I'm just going to clamp this over here for now. Okay, just like that for now. Now I have 3 of those macrame stitches. Here's 4. I'm halfway there. But see how when everything is clamped down, how much easier it is to do? I'm going to go at Kate speed here. I'm keeping one eye on the clock and one eye on my project. There's so much to share with you. Now notice, my friends, I started at also, this is a 3-yard cut of this fine Ceylon. The center, I have 1.5 yards going to the left, 1.5 yards going to the right. Okay. And that's important because we are going to be laddering also with this cord. Okay. So here we go. Like this. All right. So that's done. I just want to kind of clear the button. This is kind of my rule of thumb on this, right? like that. And now I'm going to come down and I'm going to start to ladder. So what I do here is I get my tails of my leather and I'm just going to cut those in half. So I freed everything up. All right. And everything is all the same size. So the way that I hold everything tightly on this board and on this project is I come in and I make sure that everything is flat like this. And let me bring it here so you can see it. I am going to clip one here, one here, and I clip these individually because it's a little easier for me to deal with, and they clamp nice and tight. So you actually need like 5. We sell them by the pair, so you'll need like 3 pair. So a lot of you have these already too, though. And if you don't have these, you could also use binder clips as well, too, right? If you wanted to. If that works. We've used those in a pinch as well. Okay, let me scoot on down. So now I'm ready. See how this is all set to go? Now, I want you to take a look at the top of this. Okay. And Heather, this is a wooden tray that I'm working on. This is actually one of my jewelry trays out of my jewelry stash. We also carry the black jewelry trays. You could use any kind of a box. You could use a macrame board. But this is out of my own stash. But we do sell it. We carry it in black. And it's called the Deep Dish Design Tray. And we also carry the velvet pads for them. Okay. But yeah, you can use a macrame board, whatever works for you. Okay. I'll slide this back up. Now, let me show you here. All right. See here at the beginning, what we do is this bracelet has 4 channels. Or 3 channels, 1, 2, 3. Hence the need for the 4 strands right here. Okay. This channel is for the first piece of chain. This is for the seed beads in the 6 millimeter. And this is for the last piece of chain here. So if you'll notice, I work up to the chain and I start with 1/8 millimeter or 1/8/0, 1/8/0, 1/8/0. And then I go up to 1/8/0, 2/8/0, 1/8/0. Then I introduce the chain, 3/8/0, and the chain. So let's get through this. Okay. The other thing I want you to notice here, we're doing laddering, but I do this laddering a little bit differently. And I want to draw this out than any of our other ladders. Okay, so there's the base. Let me get another color here. There we go. Your thread that's coming out from the right, from the left, that goes underneath your strands, and the thread that's coming out from the right is going to ladder on top. Okay, and the left you go underneath. Okay, and you're going to see me do that, but you want to be consistent, right, with this. On my left, I'm going to go under. On my right, I'm going to go over. So what you're doing is you're locking your beads in. If your beads are here, you're locking your beads in one way from the top of the leather. And if your leather cord is going here, I'm not a great drawer at it, but one is locking in from the top and one is locking in from the bottom. So you're going in a circle like this, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to get my seed beads. I'm going to put them in a little thing here. Oh, and just to show you, this is what I had left over as far as my 6 millimeters go from this bracelet that I did. I had almost all of my Ceylon left, and I had a bunch of the seed beads left. So if you did want to make this longer into a double wrap, what you would do is you'd use this 1 yard that came with this, and you'd purchase a 2nd yard, and you'd just make this twice as long, right? You'd put your 2nd yard piece on the inside here, okay, if that makes sense. All right, so let me dump out a few of my seed beads here. This one I wanted to have a little bit more of a high contrast, right? And I'm also going to put, hopefully I haven't lost my needles. Hang on, of course, I also have a knot in my thread. Don't let a knot strike fear into your heart. You're in charge of getting that knot. The leftovers, Wendy, would make a great set of earrings, 100%. The bracelet that I made, and thank you, Melanie, for asking, my wrist is 6.5 inches. So my bracelet runs about 7.25 for me, is about how I like to have it fit. You will have enough to make over an 8-incher if you need it longer. But I used 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 of the 6 millimeters right here. Okay. All right. So let me get here's my needle on one end. And remember, I pull it down a bit and I lock it in on that side so it doesn't fall off. And my other needle, is it sitting here? Yes, I didn't lose it. Here it is. I'm coming in and I'm putting it on this side. Okay, and locking it in. All right, so let's start by putting our first line of beads on. I'm going to put 1 orange. This is, I think, that rainbow cardinal, I think. This tan Picasso, and 1 of the orange. Let me get that out of the way, and let me zoom in a bit so you can see it. Okay. There we go. So now I'm going to come in. I'm going to slide these all the way down. I'm going to try and get this thread out of my way. This first one is like the worst, right? And then it gets better. So just hang in there, okay? I'm coming in. You can see there are my 3 beads from below. I'm going to come in and I'm going to shove is the operative word, right? There's 1 in that section. The brown goes in the middle and the orange goes along the outside. Okay. And look, it's kind of all messed up and just not great, right? But it doesn't matter. What we want to do first is lock these in and then we'll fix it. Okay. So I'm going to put this strand down and I'm going to pick up my other strand and I'm going to come from the top. All right. I'm going to go over like this and through over the leather, right? I'm going through that tan one, over the leather, through that orange one, and out. Okay. So once you have these 2 threads coming from the opposite ends and tightening everything up, see, it still looks a little messy, but it doesn't matter because what you're going to do is push those beads up, push them up, push them up, push them up. Hold them there between your index finger and your thumb. And now you're going to pull the slack from either side to tighten them up. See that? You're going to have a little bit of space there, but that's okay. I think the space looks nice. So what we have now is that our thread is in position again. This thread is ready to come underneath. This thread is ready to go on top. Okay, and they've just switched places. So now let me go ahead. I'm going to mix this up a little bit. I think I'll put a tan Picasso on the outside. I'm going to put 2 of the orange on the inside, 1 and 2, because I need to widen it so it's the same width as that 6 millimeter, right? So I don't want to just come in and put those 3 beads there, or else this connection is going to be really awkward, right? So I come in below, and I'm going to put this, that one, that single one there, those 2 there, and that single one there. See that? I mean, you could just do this all the way down. It would look great. No 6 mils, no chain, no nothing, right? Just keep doing this. It'll look really, really nice. Now I switch threads. Now that's this thread here. And we carry the macrame boards. They're very handy. I like to ladder on a macrame board for sure. And if you can't make this in all one go, just pull it through one and stitch it. Pull it through the second one and stitch it. The second section, right? Be careful that you're not grabbing that other thread. And now stitch it through that third one. The wire needle is a little bit bendy, but that's okay, right? So this here. Sandra, you sure can subscribe to this channel. I love this question, Sandra. Best place to subscribe to us is over at the beadshop.com YouTube channel. Jump over to beadshop.com over on YouTube, and you'll get notifications every time I go live, every Wednesday and Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific. Thank you so much for asking. It's great to have you here. Okay, so tighten this up. All right, now can you see we're just about ready for number 3. We're also ready. You know what we're ready for? We're ready for chain. Let's do it. So let me zoom out. I use the gold chain with this one, the satin gold. Gosh, there's almost 300 of you watching, my friends. Thank you so much for being here, being with us today. We really appreciate you. Also, don't forget you can use our Bead Shop Great Bead Extravaganza coupon code. There's always time for a little bit of promo, isn't it? Right there, save 20% store-wide at beadshop.com, and that goes through Monday the 20th. Okay. This will also live on if you want to come back and rewatch this later for your instructions for this. Best place to find it is over on our YouTube channel. I'll also link it onto the project page over on Bead Shop, the chain reaction bracelet. So you'll be able to find it right there. I'm going to come in, I'm going to clip this chain apart. So now I've got 2 pieces. Okay. Now, instead of laddering with that first, that seed bead, now we're going to ladder with the chain. Let me focus this just a little bit. Bear with me here. This is the other step that's a little wonky. Okay. So, but just stick with it. Okay. So let's come in. I'm going to tighten everything up here with my clamp. There we go. Now, from underneath, okay, here's my first link of chain. So that chain goes on. Now, what did I put here? I put 3 8/0. So I'll put on 3 8/0. I will put maybe a tan, then an orange, then a tan. Then my other piece of chain, it's just the same as lettering beads, except it's chain, right? All of that goes underneath and pulls. All right, now we're going to lock it in on the stitch above. See, those are down there. Let me kind of tighten it up. I'll come in. I'll push this first piece of chain up in the channel. Again, just kind of go with it, and then you'll kind of arrange it afterwards, okay? But let's get it laddered. So from underneath, now we're going on top through the chain. Then get these 3 8/0 in there. 1, 2, 3. Above the leather again, and through that chain. So can you see how I've locked that in? Okay, right there. Now I'm going to come through. Whoops. Oh, no, I'm not. my thread came off. Ooh, you want to make sure that that tail of your thread, and it happens, just get that tail a little bit longer so it doesn't want to pull out. Okay, so here is this. Just get it back where it goes. No big deal, no big whoop. There's this and this. Those 3. Come on. Come on. Come on. Really? I promise you, it wants to go through. There we go. And this one. All right, it's in there. Now I'm going to pull it through, and there's the thread that follows. All right. So now, see, again, it's kind of loose like this, right? So I'll slide it up, kind of hold it between my fingers, tug a little bit on the right hand, and tug a little bit on the left hand, like this. Okay. Karen, using a loom, that's an interesting question. The loom, though, and I've done some laddering like this on looms. The loom, what you have to do is your thread is wound all the way around. It's not tapered like this. So I really want this tapered with the button first. So that's why I do it kind of like this. But you could certainly experiment if this would work on the loom, and then kind of do this section afterwards, like bring it up, macrame it, attach the button, that kind of thing as well. So it just depends. Okay. But see, now I've gotten my thread, my chain is in, right? I'm wide enough here to get to my 6 millimeter, so I'm good to go. Now, what happens after all of this now is a little different because your chain is in, right? So we've got to get our chain in there. We've got to catch our chain from behind. Okay, so what we do is first we tighten up that chain a bit, and we look at the link that we need to go through. The link that we need to go through, and if this chain link below that one isn't sitting right, just use your awl. Okay, and this chain is going to kind of sit on top just a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to go from underneath. I'm going to go through that chain link. See how I've captured that chain link there? Now I put on my 6 millimeter. Okay, this gets a little, just a little different. And now I go through that chain link there. Okay, you want to always be going through the sideways facing link, and the top facing link is what kind of sits on your leather and shows. Okay, so again, don't worry about making this tight yet. Come in and lock it in. So let me get my needle. There's that chain link right there. So now I go through the top, through that chain, through that 6 millimeter, and through that chain link. See that? Pull it all the way through, and now you're going to worry about tightening everything up. Okay? Remember how I put my fingers there? I kind of pushed it up, tug gently from the right, tug gently from the left, and see how that gets that in there? I'm going to scroll to or zoom in just a hair so you can see this. Okay. So let me get a little tighter. Let me make sure that I'm in the right length and all of that stuff. So hang on. Let me do that and let's take a look. So I'm in this link here up top. Oh yeah, you are correct. I went through the wrong chain link there, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it really. I don't know, maybe I should. This is when you stop after you've done that first laddering and kind of make sure. Yeah, see here? It should have gone. No, that's right. Is that right? No, it's not. Okay. You got me, Melanie. I'm going to fix it. See, but I know that you folks are paying attention. That's when the awl really comes in handy. So check your first chain lettering. There we go. That's not right. Yeah, see, I went through the one that faced. Well, we all have trouble.
That's why you have an awl.
That's why we have an awl, right? So I'm going to take this out. Just take it out of the chain, right? Put your needle back on. Ain't no thing. We're going to go through here. Hold this chain really tightly like this. See, now you can really see, right? Here's that top link, so it's facing up. This link is facing flat. It needs to go through this third link that's facing to the side. There it goes. See that? I got it through the right one. Now tighten. Now coming back, push it up between the leather. Put this one aside, pick up the other thread. This is where I put my needle down in a slapdash fashion. Hang on. That's why I have another package of needles here. Let me get it. I'm going to put my needle on. And we want to come from around here and go through the side. Sally, that's a good question. Sally's asking, can I tape or clamp down the chain? You know, once you do a few of these, I think it's easier, honestly, if we have our chain loose, to be perfectly honest, because you need a little bit of give and a little bit of room to move things around. Just kind of keep, when you do that first going through thing, right? Just pull it down like with your other hand and then send your needle through. Once you've got this laddered a little bit, it'll kind of behave a little bit nicer. I'm going to come in, I'm going to tighten this up again, and I need to fix that one. There we go. Okay. All right. So now I'm ready to add 3 seed beads, right? Because I'm at the 3 seed beads there. I put on my 6/0. Now I'm ready for my 3 seed beads. Okay. So you can mix up the colors. You can do whatever you want. I've been kind of doing the opposites where I put one color on the outside and then one on the inside and then switch. So here we go. I'm going to go. I can see this is the chain link that I need to go through. It's just kind of hanging there. Whoops. See, I put my beads on too fast. You got to go through that chain link first, my friends. That's the mistake I make with this all the time. So I'm going to go through. You can also pull that chain down a little bit if you need to. Sorry, this is out of my focal range for the camera, so just bear with me. There we go. I'm in the right one, and I can kind of push it up, see, and make sure that's right. All right. Now, I'm going to put on my seed beads. One. Whoops. My fingers all of a sudden feel giant. Try it again. That one doesn't want to cooperate. 1, 2. I said 2. Oh, come on. It's hard when it's out of your focal range. I can't see it. And now I'm going to go from below. See, there's that chain link. You see it right there. Send it through and ladder. Okay. This, I think, is like 4 millimeter, 3 millimeter. Might be 3 millimeter chain, maybe. It doesn't really matter because the channel will adapt to the size of your chain. So if you have some Rolo chain that's a little bit bigger, so see, now I kind of play around with it, make sure it's all straight, switch needles, and go back through. See, there's that link. There's this. 1, 2, 3, and that link. Okay. All right. So you're going to continue this on. Okay. Continue on. All right. And the leather. So let me go over this to tell you, and I'm going to show you how I do this closure as well. Okay, because we're almost out of time. Thankfully, our buddy Jill McKay is up next. She's coming up at the half past the hour, next hour. Jill is actually on a business meeting. She's actually away at some fun business stuff. So I have her pre-recorded show, and I'm the one who's actually starting it. So, so we'll have her go on at 30 minutes past the next hour. So let me tell you what I've got here, just to go over. We can go over the, if you go to beadshop.com, it'll have the listing for the project. It's called Chain Reaction. This is, you're going to need a button, this Tibetan style button. I added a whole bunch of new colors as well. So we've got a lot of fun of these Tibetan style. You're going to need a button. You're going to need some fine Ceylon right there. The leather that I use is a 1.5 millimeter leather. Now, you could go up to 2 millimeter, especially if you have chain that's a little bit bigger. It could be 2 mil. That's fine. Doesn't matter, really. You're going to need an 8/0 bead. If you want 2 colors, like I have here, you'd get 2. And then you need a 6 millimeter fire polish. Okay. And everything in the kit is listed, and it's all there on the project page is there. So Liz, really great thing here. Exactly right. We start the pattern with 1 8/0 in each of the channels. Then we go to 1 8/0, 2 8/0 in the center channel, 1 8/0 on the end. Then we introduce our chain, 3 8/0 chain. Then we go chain, 6 millimeter chain, and so on. And then you repeat. You go all the way down to the end, and you come in. Keep trying this on, right? What you would do, what I did was I unclamped it. And I kept wrapping this around my wrist to see how it looked, right? Then once I had about an inch or so left, maybe even about an inch and a half, I'll measure it on the bracelet for you. That's when I stopped because, where's my sample? Here it is. Let me give you some measurements here. Let me get my tape measure. If we look at this and we see from the button to where you begin laddering, it's a little under an inch, about 3/4, I'll say. Okay. This section, that's just the taper, you need about 1/2 inch. So let's just say you want to begin tapering when you have about an inch and a half left, because over here, we're going to do this portion. For me, that portion is about 4.5 inches. And now this section over here where it tapers to the end where I tie that knot is about an inch and a half. Okay, so you really need to stop when you have about an inch and a half left when it wraps around your wrist and you've got about an inch and a half. Okay, because what you could do here is, if it's short, just make your macrame a little bit longer. Okay, I tried to make this macrame match 8 here and 8 here, but it's no problem making this a little bit longer. What I did was I tied a knot here at the end and I made sure that my button fits through, right? So you're going to come down, you're going to taper it down, right? You're going to end with that chain and row of 3. You're going to taper it in 1, 2, and 1, then 1, 1, and 1. Bring it in, macrame, macrame, all 4 of these strands together right here. Remember how I added glue up here? I do the same thing down here. I add a little bit of glue and I take those strands and I macrame them down. If you start with 3 yards of thread, you're not going to have to add any thread here. Okay? You're going to add that glue, macrame, macrame, macrame. Add your glue on the very ends on your thread as you come around to macrame. Let that glue sit nice and really let it cure. Then you'll be able to come in. What I did was I clipped away my middle strands of my cord is what I did. And then I actually put in 1 more macrame so it kind of hides that end. Can you see that? So once you're finished macrameing, cut away the cords, do 1 final macrame, glue your cord, let that cord sit, and then either use your thread burner right here, your thread burner, perfect end, or just clip it. And then to close it off, just make sure that you've got enough room there. Let me zoom out a bit. Sorry about that. So that your button can come through. It can even be just a little bit large, right? And then you can either silk wrap this end, tie a knot at the end, or macrame the end. Okay. And I promise you, once you get to this section right here, you know that from the left, you're always coming from underneath. From the right, you're always coming on top. So you're creating a circle that holds the bead and the chain together. Now, if you watch this and watch this and go back several times and rewatch this, okay, it will really get you. Let me put this on. I can't do it under the camera. it will get you on the right track. You also can do just a little practice with some of the materials that you have, maybe a little short piece of chain, but do a little practice for you. So here it is, right here on my wrist. There's the button. As I say, we've got these Tibetan beads underneath the Tibetan buttons, right? But it looks really nice. And I think it stacks up really nicely with some of our former great Bead Extravaganza pieces. This was the adventure bracelet that I did a few great Bead Extravaganzas ago. It would look nice with, this is the chain one. This is the expedition bracelet. Look at how fun those look together, right? The buttons are really great. And the buttons also, my friends, are item of the week this week. So that means that you don't need a coupon code to save that 10%. So if you stack that TGBE 20, buttons are all going to be 30% off. I don't know what we were thinking, but that's what it is. So it is time. Stock up on these buttons. These are great to have in your stash. So that's it. I hope it was pretty. Let me take myself off of here. Put this here. There we are. All right. There's a photo of this project that is up on the project page. Stay tuned because we are going to do the full retreat wrap. I'm doing it as a special kit for you. We're going to do another colorway of this one to start at the beginning of it. But I think you'll really like it. That's going to happen in a few weeks. That's not going to happen for a bit. But I wanted to get you started with this. It is, Cindy, if anything is an epic project, this is. But I really want you to stick with this. The chain, laddering with chain is not for the faint of heart, but this run-along chain is really easy to ladder. And if you're like, you know what, I don't want to do 2 lengths of chain on the side. I want to do just 1 link of chain in the center. Switch it up. Make that link, that one, go in the middle and do the beads on the sides. That might be easier for you. But play around. Give yourself permission to practice and create, and you're going to be just fine. This project is going to live on our YouTube channel. It's going to be linked to the project on beadshop.com. And this isn't going to be the last time you're going to see this because I am so in love with laddering this chain that you're going to see it again. So thank you again so much. If you have questions, you can always find us anywhere. All over online. You can follow our Facebook page, jump on Facebook and join us at the bead table. Lots of great friendly people over there. Our Instagram at beadshop.com. Also follow our great Bead Extravaganza Insta. Lots of fun stuff on there. Our Pinterest pages at beadshop.com. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so you see when I go live every Wednesday and Friday at 10:30 a.m. Give us a shout out on social. Share this broadcast if you enjoyed it, and tag us over at beadshop.com. And if you have any questions, best place to communicate with us, my friends, is info@beadshop.com. All right. Thanks again. You can use that coupon code TGBE20 through Monday to save 20% store-wide at beadshop.com. I want to thank all 300 of you for showing up and supporting us and hitting those likes, those shares, those thumbs up. We really appreciate you. A big thanks to Janice, who's on the other side of the computer doing that moderating from her busy Saturday afternoon over on the East Coast. We really appreciate you, Janice. And coming up next, we're going to have a pre-record with Jill. She has a wonderful project coming up for you. So you'll see Jill come up at the half hour. Thanks. We couldn't do it without you. Happy TGBE, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.